The death toll in the airstrike in Sumy has risen to 21, including 2 children. The bodies were found under the rubble. This was reported in the Sumy Regional Prosecutor's Office. The exact number of the dead and injured is still being determined. It should be reminded that in the evening of March the 7th, the Russian troops attacked apartment houses with air bombs. A humanitarian catastrophe in Mariupol is intensifying. The city remains under siege. There is no food, medical supplies, heat or water. Occupying Russian troops are constantly shelling the city.
The occupiers are deliberately disconnecting communication. They deliberately block the delivery of food and water supply and cut off electricity. For the first time in decades, for the first time since the Nazi invasion, a child died of dehydration. Hear me out today, dear partners. A child died of dehydration in 2022.
In the morning, people were evacuated from the city of Sumy to Poltava. Buses with about 2,000 students from the Republic of India and the People's Republic of China have moved through the humanitarian corridor. For this purpose, 35 buses left Poltava region for Sumy. Civilians of the city went away by their own cars. In the column in particular, there have been representatives of the Red Cross and medics. Also, 20 tons of humanitarian aid were delivered from Poltava to Sumy. That's food and medicine. Civilians continue to be evacuated from Irpin in Kyiv region. The only way out of the city to the highway to Kyiv is through the crossing under a destroyed bridge. In the first hour and a half since the opening of the Green Corridor, 2,000 people have been evacuated. People say they have to stand in line for 3 hours. There are tents set up by the State Emergency Service where they provide medical care if necessary. According to Victoria Ruban, a spokeswoman for the SES of Kyiv region, people are psychologically exhausted, and many have chronic conditions that have gone worse. Children are on the verge of a nervous breakdown, equally in poor mental state. Irpin has been under fire for 12 days already, and fights are underway within the city limits. The damage caused by the Russian troops to Ukraine's transport infrastructure has exceeded $10 billion. This was announced by the Minister of Infrastructure, Oleksandr Kubrakov. He noted that the $10 billion in damage was estimated as of March the 6th and has increased since then. This includes roads, bridges and railways, as well as equipment that was damaged during the shelling of airports. More than 100 children from 3 orphanages in Kharkiv region were transported to Poltava region. About a dozen staff members came with them. People were brought to Poltava region because shelling continues in the area. Children are aged from 1 month to 6 years. In Kharkiv region, they had to hide in basements due to shelling.
We moved the beds to the first floor and took the children there. On the 4th day, we lost the electricity, so for 1 day, we ran to cook on fire. And then we started running around the area looking for apartments with gas stoves.
At the slightest approach of the sound of cannonade, we grabbed the children, wrapped them in blankets and ran to the basement. They felt our anxiety and started crying.